Brothers and sisters, having been a longtime advocate and champion for consumer rights, California Insurance Commissioner Dave Jones shows absolutely no sign of letting up in his second term. He's already obtained settlements from 18 of the largest life insurance companies to pay over $1 billion in benefits they owed people. And he will continue to fight for us, to stand up to big insurance, to stand up for consumers, and to stand up for working Californians. Brothers and sisters, Dave Jones.
Thank you, California Democrats. Are we having a great convention or what? How about that, Elizabeth Warren? And thank you for working so hard to re-elect me as your insurance commissioner. And for making sure we had Democrats elected up and down the ticket and up and down this great state. Thank you, California Democrats. Now, we have a lot to be proud of in terms of our accomplishments. Supporting working men and women in the labor movement and making sure that they have the right to organize. Making sure prevailing wages are paid for construction jobs. Supporting our public schools, our teachers, and classified employees. Taking bold steps to fight climate change and protect the environment. Fighting for the rights of the LGBT community to marry and protecting all their civil rights. Protecting women's access to reproductive health services. Providing health insurance for 3 million Californians who were previously uninsured. And stopping health insurers from denying people health insurance due to pre-existing health conditions. Balancing our budget, attracting new capital, building new businesses, and providing for new jobs. Opening the doors of economic opportunity to women, minorities, and veterans. That's California. That's California Democrats. The list of accomplishments goes on, but we have more work to do. One of our biggest challenges is fighting income inequality. Now, when I served as a legal aid lawyer providing free legal services to the poor, I was always struck by how hard poor families work to make ends meet, and the unfairness of it all, having to take several jobs to feed their kids and pay the rent, because many jobs simply don't pay enough to lift families out of poverty. How can it be in the wealthiest state, in the wealthiest nation in the world, that so many working families live below the poverty line? Working families living below the poverty line. It's simply not acceptable. Despite the growth in productivity and growth in our economy, so many Americans have not enjoyed real gains in their incomes. And as Democrats, we have to recommit ourselves to making work pay and to fight the root causes of income inequality. Will you join me in fighting income inequality? Now, under this current state minimum wage of $9 an hour, a worker only makes $18,720 a year. Simply not enough to lift a family of 3 above the poverty level, let alone enough to live in California. We need to raise the minimum wage in this state to $15 per hour, and we need to do it now. Will you join me in fighting for a $15 an hour minimum wage now? Now, another way to make work pay is the Earned Income Tax Credit. Even Ronald Reagan called it one of the most successful anti-poverty programs. When I was in state assembly, I authored legislation to create a state earned income tax credit, but the opposition was too strong. The time is now to create a state earned income tax credit. The governor has put it into his May revise. You've heard the speaker and pro tem talk about it. Will you join and support us in establishing a state earned income tax credit? Now, another area where working parents struggle is the struggle to find quality, affordable child care. We need to expand the availability of child care so every working parent has access to child care, so they can go to work knowing that their child will be cared for and they can afford it. Will you support the expansion of child care? And we should redouble our efforts to collect unpaid child support. I'm sponsoring Senate Bill 585, authored by Senator Connie Leyva, to require insurers to make sure kids are paid first before the insurer pays out on an insurance claim. How about it? Should we put kids before insurers? Absolutely. Now, study after study demonstrates that quality preschool makes a tremendous difference in the later success of children. But many families simply do not have access to affordable quality preschool. We need to make quality preschool universally available for all our kids, just as kindergarten is. And we all know a quality education is critically important for future success. We need to continue to support funding for our public schools and the teachers and the classified employees who work there. I'm a proud father of 2 children who are getting a great public school education. Democrats, will you join me in continuing to support our public schools? And while we've made success in healthcare reform, health insurers are still making excessive profits at our expense. Too many Californians still can't find affordable health insurance. We tried to pass a ballot measure with your support that would allow us to regulate health insurance rates and to reject these excessive profits. But the health insurers spent $56 million in a deceptive TV ad campaign up and down this state to confuse the voters. We need to remove the middlemen who are making profit at our expense. We need to move to a system of Medicare for all, a system of single-payer universal health care. Now, another reason we have income inequality is that tax loopholes allow big corporations to avoid paying their fair share of taxes. One such tax loophole allows 2 of our biggest health insurers to avoid paying the same taxes that other health insurers pay. We should close corporate tax loopholes. We should pass Assembly Bill 1434 by Assemblymember Kevin McCarty, which would close the Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield tax loophole. I have a hard time saying it, I'm so mad. Closing that tax loophole alone provides $300 million that can be used for other Democratic priorities, like expanding reimbursements to doctors and nurses and other medical providers who take Medi-Cal. How about that? Now, the other thing that saps our economy is financial crime. When Wall Street plays with our money and ends up profiting while the rest of the economy collapses and then they're bailed out, why, that should be a crime. Why weren't the people who speculated with our money, who profited at our expense, who used their insider knowledge to make a killing, and who caused the financial meltdown, why weren't they put in jail? As your insurance commissioner, I've made it a priority to investigate and work with prosecutors to prosecute those who commit insurance crimes. These crimes add costs to the economy, which gets passed on to us in additional prices for goods and services, taking dollars out of our pocket, making income inequality worse. Take, for example, the insurance crimes committed by the CEO and owner of a major Long Beach hospital. This hospital CEO in Long Beach marked up the price of back injuries for injured workers. He passed on those inflated surgery costs to workers' compensation insurers, who then passed on the cost to employers in the form of higher prices. Employers paying these higher costs are forced to hire fewer people, or raise the price of goods and services, or pay people less, or all 3. So see how we're hurt by these insurance crimes? It saps our economy. Now, the Department of Insurance detectives investigated the hospital CEO. We discovered that he was paying kickbacks to doctors to send them more injured workers on which to do these surgeries. That's illegal. Our investigation led to the hospital CEO pleading guilty. He now faces up to 10 years in federal prison. But these financial crimes not only hurt the economy, they also corrupt our very system of democracy. During our investigation of the hospital CEO, we found evidence that the CEO was allegedly bribing a state senator. The CEO admitted he bribed the state senator to prevent the passage of legislation that would create a cap on these surgeries performed at the hospital. The evidence collected in our investigation and other evidence collected ultimately led to the federal indictment of State Senator Ron Calderon. Public corruption has no place in our party. Public corruption has no place in our democracy. And the white-collar thugs ought to be investigated, arrested, and prosecuted, just like we did with that hospital CEO. White-collar criminals should not be given a pass, and I'll continue in my second term to investigate them and to enforce the laws of California to make sure we have a level playing field for all Californians. Democrats, thank you for the opportunity to serve you and to serve California. I look forward to working with you to improve our state. Will you fight with me? Will you fight with me against income inequality? Will you fight with me to give every Californian an equal opportunity to succeed? And will you fight with me to improve this great state that we love, California? Thank you, Democrats, and have a great convention.